Good morning, folks. It's Dennis Jr. here in Lincoln, Nebraska with my father, Denny Sr. We have a lot of customers ask us, can I send my guitar in to be zagurized? And this is actually something my father used to do about 30 years ago, especially for his students. A lot of customers don't know my father taught guitar for about 45 years. And he's kind of been, you know, besides performing, and he's taught and building guitars now. It kind of comes full circle. But regarding having your guitar zagurized, a lot of people don't understand with our guitars. The setup part of it is really only about 20% of our guitar's playability. It's actually a very small part. I mean, and there are a lot of techs and shops out there who can lower strings and that sort of thing. And I do always warn players, if you're going to have your guitar set up at a shop, do your research on that shop. Make sure they have, you know... we have a video on that. Yeah, we made a video on that last week about that you may want to check out. Make sure you're luthier. We have heard horror stories over the years of, you know, customers taking even our guitars into shops and luthiers saying, it needs this, this, and this, or $300 worth of work, and then they get their guitar back, and they find their guitar is not nearly as easy to play as it was before the work was done. Unfortunately, there are a few, you know, I'm not going to say corrupt individuals, but, you know, luthiers make their money. A lot of luthiers make their money for the work that they do, and sometimes there is work done that does not need to be done. And it's just
like
one...
cars.
Mechanics, that sort of thing, yeah. You've heard of the stories, like on 60 Minutes, that sort of thing, where you know, people get taken advantage of because this is a very vast field here, guitar luthier. Anyone can, you know, hang a shingle up and call themselves a luthier, and that's kind of unfortunate. Just make sure you do your research. You know, we have 45-year flawless Better Business Bureau rating, 15-year flawless eBay feedback rating, selling thousands of guitars worldwide, globally now. So. You know, anytime we do anything, we've got to back it up. So, but regarding the original inquiry of, you know, can you zagurize my guitar? Really, only about, you know, 20% of what makes our guitars that really easy to play is in my father's final setup that he puts on the guitars. Other things, if you look at our guitars, one is like our custom neck design. It's taken my father literally a lifetime to develop this style of neck, and it's shaped in just a certain way. For it just, you know, we've had customers, 30, 40, 50-year players who get on this neck, and, you know, they say, it just feels good in my hands. And it didn't come overnight, folks. It came from sending thousands and thousands of guitars out to customers and getting feedback and refining our product.
We did it the wrong way first, every which way before we
yeah, we did it the wrong way. You know, live and learn. You know, but it's fine tuning. These guitars every year. I've had customers, you know, who bought guitars 15 years ago, and again, most of our business these days it comes from return customers and referrals, friends referring friends and family. And many times they'll get one of our new guitars and say, oh my gosh, this thing plays easier than my old one. And that's because we're always improving. We're trying to make things better. But as I said, as an example, our neck design is like no other out there. So even if we were to set up your guitar, if you have a fat neck that's hard to get your hand around, no matter what kind of setup we did, you're still going to have a fat neck that's hard to get your hand around. Another thing is spacing. You know, we use a custom spacing on our strings that, as far as I know, no one else uses. There's just a little bit extra space side to side, and, you know, even down to the 1/16 of an inch, when you're trying to form certain chords and you're leaning just a little bit on a string, this little bit of extra space, the 1/16 or 1/32 that we have built in here, can mean the difference between you muting out a chord or buzzes and rattles everywhere and a clean, clear chord. So people don't realize that. And you look at our necks and you look at the spacing and you say, well, it looks like any other guitar neck. If you look very close, there are distinct changes. And I can't get into all of them, folks, because that kind of would be, you know, like giving away the Colonel's recipe. But there's lots of things here. We have a special bracing system that allows for a much fuller, richer sound, even using lighter string gauges. So a special bridge design. We use special materials for the saddle on our guitars. Right now we're using tusk. You know, we still use bone, tried and true traditional bone for the nut. But over the last couple of years, there's a new product out called Tusk. You may want to look it up, TUSQ. New technology. When there's new stuff out there, my father and I are always researching that sort of thing. So we kind of get the best of the traditional and the best of the new technology. But there's multiple things here that are different about our guitars if you research them, and we'll get into those things on other videos. But I just want to, you know, brush over this because we do have a lot of customers asking, you know, can you modify my guitar and that sort of thing. And that's something we just simply don't do anymore, just because our finished product with our guitars built from the ground up with my father's designs play that much easier. So hopefully that helps. Take care.